Hello, I'm Oriane.
And I'm Theo.
And we are here to discuss why we believe that market implied inflation expectation should fall in the US and rise in Europe.
So at the beginning of the year, we've observed a significant drop across commodity prices, and in particular oil. This 15% drop has got a bigger impact both on US petrol prices and US inflation than the same metrics in Europe. There is a closer link, so we do expect inflation expectations in the US to be more affected and to fall more than their European numbers.
Now, I think it's also important to outline that we don't expect inflation to be particularly buoyant in the US or in Europe. We actually think that inflation will continue to undershoot the central bank's target in both jurisdictions. Now, in Europe, we don't think that the ECB has much ammunition left, and we don't expect any action this year. But when you look at break-even inflation valuation, they are close to historically low levels. And so we don't think that you need actually an acceleration in inflation numbers or action from the ECB to actually lift valuation from here. In the US, on the contrary, we think that the Fed still has some ammunition left. And we believe that it could potentially cut rates this year should inflation remain below its target. Now, interestingly, in such context, inflation-linked bonds in the US actually tend to underperform versus conventional treasury securities. So we would expect break-even valuations to actually compress in that kind of context.
And one final point to make is supply and demand. Supply has been very much focused at the front end of the curve, the 5-year sector in the US, whereas we think that in Europe, actually last year, it was more focused on the 10-year point. So this year, we shift to short-dated areas, we shift to the 5-year sector, and we think that this will actually place a bigger downside pressure in the US. We think that in Europe, the 10-year part will be supported. Thank you very much.
Thank you.